Alright, so I remember seeing the first trailer for Halloween 2018, and for some reason, like I mentioned before in my previous review, I was never a big fan of the Halloween franchise, and I grew to appreciate it the more I saw it, but even then I was still never a huge fan of it. And when this movie came out, I was so excited to go see it in theaters, and when I went to go see it in theaters, I enjoyed pretty much every second of this movie, except for actually one scene, one whole plot point. I'll get into that later. But this movie is awesome. This movie is great, and I love this movie. Alright, so yes, Halloween 2018 is pretty much a reboot, sequel. It ignores all the other ones. If you're a fan of the Halloween franchise, you pretty much already know what I'm talking about. And it goes straight, continuing off from the first one. So it's 40 years later, 40 years after the attack of Michael Myers. And yeah, you get to see the characters and what lives they're living now. And I gotta say, Jamie Lee Curtis coming back as Laurie Strode. For people who have been fans of the franchise, that's awesome. Even to me, someone who hasn't been a big fan of the franchise, I find that awesome. I always love it when actors come back for a role. It doesn't matter how many years later. There's something about that. I'm sure she got a nice paycheck, and I'm sure that's probably the main reason why she did that. But besides that, I appreciate it, and I'm thankful that we get to see some of the returning cast. Now, the best part about this movie, in my opinion, is Michael Myers. The Shape, he is awesome in this movie. He is fucking amazing. I think for this new trilogy, the best thing they've been nailing is Michael Myers himself. The design, the way the mask looks, how it's, torn and just beat up, how it looks like it's been, worn out for 40 years. Michael Myers is awesome. The way he kills, and the fact that they got rid of all the motivation, all, the cult, the family ties, they got rid of all that, and they just went back to the best reason as to why Michael kills. And that's just because he is the embodiment of pure evil, pretty much just ignoring everything else and paying attention to what Dr. Loomis says. He is just pure evil, he's bad, and he's got to die. And now we have Laurie Strode, who is much older, but now she is much more prepared. And this movie is clearly taking the Terminator 2 route, to where, in the first one, she was scared, now she's ready, and she's gonna fucking kill this Terminator. That's her goal. That's what she wants to do. But the thing is, it's been 40 years and Michael Myers hasn't done shit. So everybody is telling her, calm the fuck down. Her daughter and her granddaughter are both telling her to move on and get over the fact that Michael Myers once attacked her. He's gone, and he's no longer come back. And of course, Michael Myers comes back, and it's the biggest fucking I told you so. But now's not the time, because she has to save her family. Yeah, this movie is awesome. The biggest problem I have with this movie, I think it's the biggest problem most people have with this movie, and that is Dr. Sartain, the new Loomis. I just think it is just so fucking ridiculous how obsessed he is with Michael talking. That right there is just the dumbest thing, and the dumbest reason of how he gets Michael Myers and Laurie Strode to come face to face. Just the fact that Dr. Sartain wanted them to come together, so hopefully you can hear Michael speak. His obsession with Michael just speaking, and the fact that he fucking puts on the mask. That's stupid, it's ridiculous. That's the one part I hate. I can't stand it. Another part about this movie that I would say is just so weird and so out of place and just strange is all the wannabe Quentin Tarantino dialogue. What the fuck is it with all these just side conversations that sound like they're trying to be as clever as Quentin Tarantino but aren't even close? You're not Quentin Tarantino. You're not going to come close to Quentin Tarantino. The unnecessary dialogue here, it's not to build character, and it's pretty damn dumb. Now, I think that was a bit aggressive, but I would say it just throws me out of the movie, and that's the only thing I can think of is a cheap dollar store knockoff of Quentin Tarantino. No disrespect to the writers and directors, I'm sorry, but it's not interesting dialogue, and I don't give a shit. I want to go back to Michael Myers, because that is where you fucking nailed it. Michael Myers is awesome. He is a living, breathing, killing machine. He is the shape, and just, I think there was this one take where, I'm pretty sure it was a one take, I'm not sure if they cut, but where Michael Myers is just around the neighborhood and he is just killing people, and it's fun, it's awesome. The one thing I would say is, if you're going with the fact that he's just pure evil and he's just there to kill, I don't think it's a smart move to show him skipping the baby. There is a moment where there's a baby crying and Michael looks at it and he continues walking. Now, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Michael Myers killing a baby. Nobody wants to see that. That's disgusting. It's horrible. But if you're going to advertise that this man is pure evil and he's going to kill whatever's in his way, don't have a baby crying, because that's going to confuse us. That's going to confuse the audience. You know, you have the baby there. You tell us that this Michael Myers is pure evil. He is just going to kill pretty much anybody who he wants to kill. There's no reason. There's no family ties. There's no cult. He is just a killing machine, and you have a baby in front of him, and he skips the baby. It makes us think that Michael Myers has a heart, and he wouldn't kill the baby. I'd say just take away the baby in general. Just never even show that clip. Never have a baby crying. Have no baby there at all. And just let Michael Myers just continue on his wrath of killing. It's clearly here. He kills kids, and he's done it before. So he has no remorse towards killing kids. But babies is his limit. Babies is his no-no. I don't know about that. If you want to advertise him as pure evil. Of course, I don't want to see that. It's disgusting. I don't want to see him kill a baby. But just don't have the baby there at all. Besides that, the score. Holy crap. John Carpenter came back for the score, and it fucking shows. This score is awesome. The shape hunts Allison. That moment that Allison realizes that the shape is real, Michael Myers is real, the boogeyman is real. Hell yeah. That is an awesome scene. That's an intense scene. It's a great fucking score, man. Holy crap. The final act, I think, is also awesome. Pretty much Laurie Strode in her little bunker. And Michael Myers just, of course, he's there because of Dr. Loomis. But, yeah, I think that final act is awesome. I love, I forgot her daughter's name. Karen. There we go. Karen. I love the scene where she's pretty much scared and she's crying and she's calling out to her mom, saying that she can't do it, and she's apologizing, and then Michael Myers pops up and she's like, gotcha, and she fucking shoots him right in the cheek pretty much. But yeah, that's badass. Okay, you can tell this movie was made by people who absolutely adored the original one. There are so many beautiful callbacks to the original movie. Even me, who didn't grow up with the original one, who wasn't always the biggest fan of the franchise, and it took a while for me to become a fan of the franchise, for me to even know the franchise and really get to know the characters. I love the callbacks. You know, they're not right in your face callbacks, but at the same time, they kind of are, because they kind of just switch things around. That's how they do the callbacks. They do these amazing, beautiful callbacks, and they just shift them around a little bit to where it's not like just a complete just callback. It's like a semi callback, to where they either just switch roles in some scenarios, like, of course, the one where Michael Myers falls in 1978, and then they check and he's disappeared. Now it's Laurie Strode that fell, and Michael Myers checks, and now she disappears. That's a fun callback. That's great. And of course, all the characters that came back, it's fun. You get to see more of that in Halloween Kills with the dialogue. That's fun to watch. You can tell the people making this movie really love the original one, and I respect that. The atmosphere is great. I love how dark it is. You know, in the first movie, you got to see Michael Myers in the daylight, just behind things. In this movie, you get to see Michael Myers at nighttime, and I just love how he really embodies the name of the shape. You know, you really get to see, there's so much darkness around him, where you only get to see like half of his mask or a portion of his mask. And there's only, like, I think, one time when you get to see him in daylight, and that's the first time he puts on his mask, which is also another badass scene. This movie is just full of so many badass scenes, with just about a couple of dumb scenes. But besides that, so many badass scenes. This movie is badass. I mean, that's the best way to put it. It's just badass. It's slick. It's raw. It's cool. It's awesome. And like I said, I love most of this movie. Anything Michael Myers and pretty much Laurie Strode, I absolutely love. Except for that one scene where Karen was describing how she learned to fight, I think that's pretty fucking dumb. The way she was just looking straight at the camera. No. That was pretty dumb. But yeah, you can see this movie has so many awesome scenes with also quite a few just dumb scenes, just things that they could have done a little differently that would have made this movie perfect, that in my opinion, this movie would have easily topped the original one. But because of all these dumb little mistakes that this movie makes, that the original one doesn't, because the original one, you know, cuts all that crap, cuts the chase, and it's only like an hour and a half. This movie is like, what, an hour and 50 around there? I think those 20 minutes, if you cut out all that Quentin Tarantino wannabe dialogue, if you find a better way to get Laurie and Michael Myers together, besides that stupid-ass fucking Dr. Sartain thing, and you just tighten it up a little better, this movie could have easily topped the original. But because of that, because of all these flaws, I don't think it's as tight and as well made as the original one was. But this is easier to rewatch simply because it's just more of a basic slasher. And if you want to talk about basic slashers, Halloween Kills. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. First time I saw it, I absolutely loved it. Rewatched it now a few years later. You know, more of the flaws started to show. And this movie has gone down a little bit, but it's still easily one of the best sequels of the Halloween franchise. Maybe the best sequel in my opinion. But yeah, a great entry, a great love letter. You can tell the people making this absolutely loved it. A great love letter to the original Halloween with some flaws. But as always, thanks for watching.